there are so many like good things about this story and good people you find along the way, because I mean that's what it's all about. We have to support each other and support the health and well-being of our children, and it happens communally because each house, we are our own units, but we live in community together. And if one child is suffering, it affects every other child, not only in his classroom, in his school, in his community. And if it can happen to one, it can happen to all. And so to Austin, thank you. So we had counselors assigned to us, and eventually he was granted a special education assessment for emotional support. So my son is incredibly bright. Both of my children just amazingly bright children. But he was just having a hard time adjusting emotionally. He didn't want to get into the classroom. He wanted to talk about what happened to him and deal with that, because he was in a safe place, and that's, I guess, where you process trauma that you've left. And so this went on. He was granted special education emotional support. They did a month-long assessment. They shadowed him in class, and he was granted this. So he'd have someone dedicated on campus to him every day. So if he needed, just a break to gather himself, there was someone there to help him through that and also keep him on task. And this didn't take away time from the other students in the classroom or the teacher. Before this actually was granted, this probably came through like a week before they took custody from me. But 2 weeks before custody was taken from me, March of 2017, in February of 2017, my son was hospitalized, 5150'd, claiming that he felt guilty and did not want to live. He was saying that he had to lure children into these vans, these white vans, and he couldn't live with what he had seen happen to them. I went to visit him every day in the mental hospital in Austin, and to see him like that, drugged and like, that was difficult too. And so when he came back, he was assigned a medication, and we had a psychiatrist now that we saw. We only saw her once, but in her office was the first time where I'd ever seen anyone interview him. And to see him recount things that he hadn't told me was incredibly painful. And I now understand, like, on another level, why they don't interview children in front of their parents, because there's a level, like, there's certain things that kids don't want to say in front of their parents, and it's really hard as a parent to hear your kids disclose certain things. And so I think that should be kept separate. But I was witness to some disclosure in the psychiatrist's office in Austin. Within 2 weeks, we were back in Riverside, and I wanted this incident to be brought up because there was the visitation on, and I wanted to make sure that my children were protected, like, indefinitely. But at this hearing, we had met an hour before with like a JL, a child attorney. So she met with him in her office. I'll speak more on that later, but she was awfully ugly to us in multiple ways. And when we got into the courtroom, I gave her 9 references of who to call in Austin: their therapists, their counselors, the special ed person. I gave her reference to the hospital. She called and contacted none of them. She told the judge that I may be telling the truth about the hospital, but she couldn't verify that. And she recommended full custody to the father, and he gave it.